Welcome to the Practical Tips channel. I'm Matt, your host, providing practical tips to make your life better. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more tips.
In this particular video to a concept in cooking that is probably new to most Americans, so if you aren't familiar with this, don't be surprised. But I want you to see here that we have a new type of way to cook, and it is more efficient and safer than most of the forms of cooking that you're probably familiar with, and that is called induction cooking. This is basically cooking using an electromagnet. So what happens here, I have, as you can see on this screen, I've got a electromagnetic induction cooktop right here in front of me. This particular brand, you can see their label on the surface there. I didn't get any compensation from them. This is just the one I bought off of Amazon. And so anyway, you can see here that it's a nice smooth glass surface. This outer circle here marks the whole cooking area. So if you were to put a pan on here outside of this area, like say over in this corner, it wouldn't heat, or it wouldn't heat very well. The neat thing about the induction basically is that with the right pan, you can actually cook your food much quicker, more efficiently, and actually you can probably use lower temperatures than you're used to using on, say, something like, for example, this electric resistance smooth top cooktop, which is, of course, has the halogen element under here, and of course they glow red when they get hot. That's basically still electric resistance. This system, however, is electromagnetic. So what essentially happens is you have to have the correct type of pot. It has to be a pot that is magnetic. Now, there are different ways for that to work. You can have a pan or pot that is stainless steel. That works. You could use cast iron on it. However, this is likely to put scratches on your nice glass surface here. So I generally don't recommend the cast iron. One type of pan, though, that is available now that has been increasing, I think, probably in sales and definitely in availability, is a standard aluminum pan, such as this one, which has, as you can see here, a stainless steel surface here. You can see surrounding all these little smaller circles. This whole section is stainless steel, so it has enough electromagnetic property that it will work. But it has to be a magnetic metal for it to work on this surface. Of course, that actually also aids in the safety of this design. And basically what happens is that any pot or pan that you put on here that's incompatible will not work. You can't use glass, okay? You can't use straight aluminum, all right? They will not work. And what that means is they won't heat up. Now, the other thing about the way this system works is that basically your pan here, when you put it on the surface, is completing an electromagnetic circuit. Like other metals, magnets aren't perfect conductors, even electromagnets. So when you put this on here, you're putting the pan into this electromagnetic field. Okay? Because this pan is not a perfect conductor of electricity or the magnetic field, then the pan heats up. The metal heats up in the bottom, and then of course the aluminum heats up pretty quickly. Aluminum transfers heat really well, so that's one of the reasons that aluminum pans even ever became popular. But the neat thing about this system is that it's very safe. If you don't put a pan on this at all, and you turn this thing on, it won't work. I can change it here, change the function, and you can see here I've got it set to the temperature scale. It says EO, that's an error message. Okay, I have to shut it off. So this thing will not cook without a pan on it. That keeps it safer than most of your other cooking methods, whether electric resistance or gas. Now, there are some things that you can do that, as far as cooking, that you probably could do quicker with a microwave. I just did a test on this, and I filled this pot, which is a 1.5 quart pot, and I put 1 full cup, that's 8 liquid ounces of water in it, and it, at the 220 temperature degree setting, it boiled the water in about 3 minutes. Okay? So, and the temperature settings on this unit in degrees Fahrenheit are in 20 degree increments. The lowest one is 140, and it goes up from there, and it stops, I think, about 460 or so. So that's what you can do with it. But I want to show you how this works. So we're going to do a little demonstration here. We're going to turn this system on, and you can see here we've got our choice of different things. It gives you heating watts, you can get temperature. There's a timer function too. I like to use the actual temperature because I want to know what temperature I'm cooking at. So I'm going to turn this down, and we're going to go to 220 again. And I'm going to pour some water in here, just so we're actually heating something. And we're not probably going to go through the whole thing of it boiling, but you get some idea here. And you can see if we turn this down, temperature range goes down to 140, and it goes up quite a ways. Now, one of the things that's great about this is that the heat transfer is basically directly to the food. You only have heat when there is the correct pan on the surface. Okay, so what that means is that the pan is actually the heating element. Okay, the electromagnetic field that this is producing is heating the pan. That means the pan heats the food directly. Okay, the heat is not occurring here on the surface. This glass surface will get warm, but only because the pan is getting warm. You see, the metal, the bottom of this pan will radiate heat back, or conduct heat back into the glass, but the glass itself does not get hot that way. The unit does not heat the glass, it heats the pan directly. So you can cook, because this thing is so much more efficient, and because you're heating the food more directly, this is a much more efficient way to cook your food in terms of energy savings. Okay, I only use this one unit, it's just for me, but you can buy, of course, an entire cooktop that is 100% induction with multiple burners. Now, it's so efficient, you probably wouldn't need to use more than 2 or 3 at a time, even if you had a 5-burner induction unit, because it's so efficient that it'll cook your food right away, and you don't need as many little induction burners in order for it to, cook an entire meal with a main course and a vegetable and a side dish or something. It's just not necessary. The efficiency that this is rated at, by the way, is about 84%. That's more energy efficient than even gas cooking is. So it's really tough to beat. The only thing that comes close to this in efficiency and speed is a microwave. And you can get water hot faster in a microwave. If you look very closely in this, you begin to see that the bubbles are actually forming in the bottom of this pan. So it is getting ready, the water is getting close to the point of boiling. But you can see here it heats up pretty quickly. Now with food, of course, this is kind of nice because you can just cook whatever you need to do, and you're in good shape. And I cook eggs, for example, for breakfast every morning, and it works great with the pan for eggs. This is also going to be good for situations where if you are watching, your fat and everything, and of course everybody's talking about things like trans fats, and there's some understanding right now in the medical community that anything you heat, any oil you heat over 350 degrees will produce trans fats. Well, you probably don't need to go that hot with this. You can see the water's beginning to boil there, so I'm going to go ahead and shut this off. But in this case, this thing is so efficient, you don't need to cook at those higher temperatures, so that may save you some health problems. Now, one of the things that's fantastic about this course is that this particular unit is like 1875 watts. If you were to turn on this burner over here, this is the largest burner that I have on my regular electric resistance stovetop. This, of course, being what they call quartz halogen or just the smooth cooktop. Glass ceramic is another term. And this unit, just this one burner on this stovetop, is 2,600 watts. And it will not heat up or cool down as quickly as the induction does. So you want to really give some consideration to how much energy you're using and how efficient your cooking really is. And since there's some areas now that are beginning to go to all electric, they're getting back away and getting away from natural gas in some areas, then you probably really want to consider, hey, is this thing going to be efficient? There are rebates and tax credits sometimes that are available for installing an all-new 100% induction cooktop for your whole stovetop. So that's definitely something to think about, especially if for some other reason you need to replace your entire stove and oven. If you need to do that, then induction is definitely something I think you should consider. The other thing that's nice about this is because it's glass, this whole setup here, and I can feel it's not really that warm, but the glass cooktop here is easily cleaned with your typical glass cleaner, or you can use a multi-surface cleaner if you have something like some of the Lysol products or Mr. Clean, something like that, and it's made to clean glass and other surfaces and it disinfects, then you can use that on here quite easily. Also, there is the glass ceramic stovetop cleaner that you could normally use on this electric resistance stove, and that is also something you can use to clean this if you need to. Most of the time, just your regular multi-surface glass type cleaner will handle this quite well. The main thing you want to remember is unplug it, okay, over here at the plug. Unplug it before you clean it, because this is glass also, but this is your touch-sensitive cooktop. You don't want to turn it on while you're trying to clean it. So unplug it before you clean it. But otherwise, this is a really nice unit. I've actually had this several years, ordered off Amazon, and works great. I've had no issues whatsoever. You can probably hear a little background noise there. That is actually the cooling fan. This system has a underneath, in here a little hard to see there, but it does have a cooling fan to cool the electronics that control this unit. So it's very well thought out there, and it runs automatically until the surface cool down to where it's a safe level. So this is a really neat way to go. And of course, it's also safer. You don't have any open flames on here. Little small children, if there's no pan on here, if you just turn the thing on and then don't put a pan on it, children cannot come up to this and burn their fingers on it, because if there's been no pan on it, it won't be hot. So it's safer that way. And it also takes less time to warm up and cool off. Also, another benefit, I happen to live in the desert Southwest, and it gets quite hot here during the summer. If you live in a desert area with high summer temperatures, you don't want your cooktop heating up your entire kitchen, when you're trying to keep your house cool. So that's also another good reason to consider this. This thing cools off real well, and it will not heat your kitchen to such an extreme that it just is difficult to cool off, or you don't want it so hot that you can't enjoy your meal in your own kitchen, right? So it's a really good thing to consider with that. And this obviously has some other features. Obviously here we've got plus and minus buttons for temperature control. There's a lock feature if you want to lock. You don't want little children's fingers trying to change the controls. You can lock them out. There's a timer feature here. The function changes between like a power level, the wattage, and the temperature. And of course then there's a main on-off button. So it's very simple, basic controls, easy to operate, and it's a great way to go. And all you have to do really is buy the correct cookware. As you can see here, I have some other pans. This is also a pan that has the stainless steel panel that's built into the bottom. So that's a great way to go. Those are readily available. A smaller pan like that, that's probably about a 8-inch pan or so, is readily available at places, some of your discount stores like Burlington or maybe TJ Maxx or Ross. and those are readily available for probably around I'd say $9 to $10 a piece. If you want a bigger pan, if you want to get the 9.5-inch pan and cook in those and get a really good quality non-stick coating on it, then I've seen those, the 9.5-inch, especially if you get it with a lid, you're looking at probably around $13 to $14. But really good investment. Of course, you can always buy a full induction-capable cookware set, especially if you have a membership in a membership warehouse. Then oftentimes you can find those on sale. So that's a great way to go. I would point out too that all the nonstick cookware I use has no Teflon whatsoever. This is all ceramic nonstick. That's one of my criteria, since Teflon has turned out to be one of those forever chemicals. I only use ceramic nonstick, so I don't have any issues with Teflon in my kitchen. So that's just a little tip there for those of you thinking about investing in some of this. I have been very satisfied with the way this induction cooktop performs. I've had no issues with it, and I think it's actually contributed to reducing my electric bill too. So, and we thank you once again for watching this particular video. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.